Got milk? Two words, one tiny, tiny question that turned into billions of dollars. And I'm gonna show you why it worked. What's up, Eddie the Madman, back with another commercial reaction for you and a breakdown, really. On this channel, I break down the psychology of advertising, the human behavior, and the insight, as we call it, and show you why it worked. Remember, advertising is nothing but creative problem solving through storytelling. That's really all it is. But the first thing you need is strategy, a great strategy. Without a great strategy, it's the great creative is just cool stuff on a page or on a screen, and that's about it. But let me break down one of my favorite commercials and one of the best campaigns of all time, and I'll show you why it worked. Check this out.
And that was the Vienna Wood Dance in D, one of my all-time favorites. And now let's make that random call with today's $10,000 question. It's a tough one. Who shot Alexander Hamilton in that famous duel? All right, let's go to the phones and see who's out there.
Hello?
Hello, for $10,000, who shot...
Burr.
Excuse me?
Burr. Hold on, let me get some milk. No!
I'm afraid your time is almost up.
Burr.
I'm sorry, maybe next time.
Got milk?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant campaign. One, that's which is one of the reasons why it ran for so long. But why? Why did it work? In the first video, we broke down, and this was what we're doing for this channel, breaking down the psychology of advertising and insights. What is the insight? Remember, all advertising is problem solving through creative storytelling. That's really all it is. And we need to have a couple things. You need to have a very strong strategy. That's where the insight comes in. We talked about last time. The insight. What is an insight? You got to understand the universal truth and how people think and how they behave. What is that behavior, right? You have to have the universal truth and the behavior on one side, and then the benefit on the other side. The easiest way to remember what a benefit is with one simple question. What's in it for me, right? What's in it for the consumer? What are they getting out of it? If you can find that human truth, that universal thing, right, and then that benefit, and bring them together, you get magic, right? And then you put it together in a cute, funny, crazy, whatever story that tells that story in a unique and memorable way. Then you got gold. That's really the recipe, right? So again, what is the insight here? What is the strategy? Why? Why did this work so well? Well, while most companies are busy trying to tell you why you need their product, the reason this worked so well was by illustrating the absence of the product, right? Which is really very well done. Funny story of how it actually happened. The big agency at the time that was working on this, mind you, it's not for a brand. It's not for Oatly milk or I mean, obviously they weren't around at that time, but it wasn't for a specific milk brand, but for the National Milk, what was it? Milk Processory Advisory Board. Um, in any case, they came up with campaigns and they went to the focus groups. And there was a woman in one of the focus groups who raised her hand and said, I don't even think about milk until it's gone. And the light bulb went off. Like, wow, that's such a insightful thought, is it not? Think about that. When's the last time you thought about milk? Yeah, you think about it if you're, intentionally making your grocery list and this and that, right? But a lot of the times, we're busy, right? We're busy running around doing this. If you got kids, you're even busier and stuff, right? So you go to pour milk in cereal or your coffee or whatever, and you don't notice you're low a lot of the time until you're pouring it, which is the exact point. So the light bulb went off like, you know what? Instead of trying to sell the product, let's sell the absence of it, which is exactly what they did and exactly why it worked so well. This is like scarcity marketing. That's what it's called, right? FOMO. This is FOMO. This is what it is, right? They're the OGs, not the originals, but they really did a hell of a job with it, right? So scarcity marketing, FOMO, at its finest. It's not new. This is just the digital version of it. This is from 1993. I'm aging myself. I was 14 at the time. I was a freshman in high school, but absolutely brilliant. And there's a reason why it ran for so long. Like I said, you have great insight and simple benefit, and it's powerful. Now you know exactly what you're doing, what your formula is. Now you can run thousands of these ads, which is exactly what they did. In the ad industry, we call that an ad having legs. And this thing had more legs than a freaking millipede, right? Which is why it ran for so long. Again, brilliant, simple, concise, funny, and memorable. And that's what you get. Billions of dollars later, right? For the milk processory board, not for Nike, not for Apple, not for some massive company. So for anyone in the ad industry, like, if one of your bosses comes to help you, for you to work on a brand that you're not that excited to work on, just know that you can make gold out of anything if you try and you put it in there. That's about it for now. But a quick note, if you're a marketer, you're a business owner, or just someone who wants to understand the psychology behind great advertising, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next breakdown. And while you're there, let me know what commercial you want me to react to next. Could be your own. If you're in the industry, it could just be a funny one that you love, one that, maybe you got into an argument or a little debate or at a Super Bowl party that you love, someone hated, or vice versa, or whatever. Let's do it. Let's rock. And I'm going to be doing a bunch of these. All right. Till next time, Eddie Man out.